Hey guys, this is Lola, but you can call me Lola if you like.
Hi, this is Velisa, but you can call me Vels if you want. And this is episode 115 of the Everybody Hates HR podcast. Woo!
And we're back. It has been a while.
It's been a very long while.
What happened?
I think you should say.
Okay, I mean, I would like to preface this
Because
by
it's her
saying
fault.
it wasn't anybody's fault. But basically, one of our discs or whatever got corrupted, right? So we recorded a bunch of episodes, so we batch record now. And then what I should have done, and I will hold my hands up and take accountability because that's the kind of person that I am, is as soon as I got home, I should have backed it up. But I didn't do that. So we took one episode, which was episode 114. Everything was good, copacetic, vibes were good, looking beautiful vibes. And then when I came back to do episode 115, the memory card and stuff, it wasn't reading. And I was like, why is this not reading? And then as it turns out, it was just broken. So I reached out to some people that I know that could help. They were like, things are not happening. And then it culminated in me sending the memory card off to a forensic data recovery specialist who work with the police, like true crime stuff. I'm like, if anybody can recover it, they can. Then my heart broke when they emailed back and said, no, this thing is dead. It's over. It's all over, Jackie. Don't cry, don't beg. That's what they said. So we lost some episodes and they were very special episodes.
They were.
We're going to see what we can do because we do have the audio of them and we might be able to repurpose some of the content or most of the audio we have. So that's that. And we would have kind of jumped back in the studio and recorded, but I've been all over the place. You've been more all over the place than I have. Like I've just been, where was I? I was in...
You went to... No, do you know what it is? Because you went to Nigeria and...
No, but that was before.
Okay.
Since I've been in the country.
You've been to
Did
Dubai?
I go somewhere else? No, I went to Dubai, but I was only there for like less than a week.
Did you not go anywhere?
Where did you go? Velisa was in New York. No, New York?
Yeah, I went to New York and then I went to Morocco. And then I went to Dubai.
Yes, and it's so funny because we went to Dubai the day after I came back.
Yeah, we
were
swapped
hoping
places.
That we could have some crossover, but there wasn't any crossover.
There was no crossover.
So basically, we would have just re-recorded some episodes, but we literally
have not been in the country together.
Yeah, this one. When did I last see you? When did I last see you?
May. I mean, yeah, May. Beginning of May.
That can't be when I last saw you.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Literally, we have literally just not crossed paths.
So that's the story, basically. Everyone keeps asking us where stuff is, what's been going on. That's it. There's lots of stuff that's happened in the HR world.
There is. I don't even know where to start.
We actually did our first webinar. So
we did.
Hopefully by the time you listen to this, it will be on. You'll be able to access it on here.
Yeah, it was actually really good. I really enjoyed the webinar.
Good.
Like even from a HR professional's perspective.
I was learning.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was good.
So yeah.
So future webinars to come.
If you have any topics or anything that you want us to cover or anybody you think would be good to have on the webinar or a particular topic, let us know. But we can get into the HR chat now.
Yeah, we can. Sorry, actually, before we do that, can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
It is Love Island season. So you know what that means.
Wait, when did it start?
I think it starts this week. But US started yesterday.
Okay.
So everyone...
They do it at the same time?
Not usually, but now that Love Island US is like really good, I think they're just, piggybacking. But obviously, you know what that means, that I'm going to be having to have my little segments of Love Island. I'm officially a solo TikToker as well.
She is. Yeah. Velisa's been making lots of TikToks. So
I have.
Velisa, until, I don't know, very recently, she was user 12345 XYP or whatever. So she didn't even have a name. She's basically a bot.
Yeah.
But now... She put her face on the internet. I can't believe it.
I know.
You've come a long way.
Thank you. So follow me on TikTok, Vels17. If you're not following me already.
Even that as a name is crazy. Vels17. But some of the biggest TikTokers have weird names like that.
Exactly. I might change it eventually to your HR baddie or something like that. But
just be Vels17 and you can talk about everything.
Exactly. So be prepared to be sick of me because I'm going to be talking about Love Island. I'm going to be talking about, I'm rewatching Desperate Housewives. So I'm coming with that info.
Desperate Housewives, wow, throwback.
Tom Scarvo is such a rubbish husband. Anyway. So yeah. Oh, and congratulations to Lauren and Cameron.
Oh yes, Lauren and Cameron, they're pregnant. Oh, I love that for them. I love that so much for them. Like literally, Love is Blind was made for them and them alone.
Literally.
Oh, and Tiffany and Brett.
Oh, and Tiffany and Brett. We love Tiffany and Brett.
Yeah.
Fair.
Okay.
Woo, hit me. What's going on in the HR world?
So we start with something. I was gonna say let's start with something light, but let's not. NHS England. There's been a lot of talk around NHS England being shut down. When I saw it online, I hate the way news is and how people consume news. Obviously, there are some reputable news outlets that you can go and you can read things and see what people are talking about. But then the social media news just gets on my nerves because someone like I'm Just Bait, or I don't follow the Shade Bar anymore, and I'm very happy to say that, but they'll post NHS England is closing down and they'll be like, oh my God, we're losing the NHS. It's like, no, NHS England is like the body responsible for governing like how the NHS works and stuff. And that is closing down, and its responsibilities are kind of going to be broken up and put into other places. That's the most important thing to know. But there are lots of people that work at NHS England, and they're basically saying that 100,000, it means 100,000 jobs are going to go, and of which
a lot of jobs
be up to, and hopefully they'll be redeployed into other NHS organisations because the work that they do is still going to be needed. It will just be in different authorities or with, I don't know, the Department for Health and Social Care or whatever. But there are going to be some redundancies, and they're saying that it could be like up to 30,000 redundancies that are going to be made across the NHS, and lots of NHS trusts have already, or NHS organisations as well, have already started doing the collective consultation, and the HR people in those organisations, they must. I was just going to
say they must be stressed.
They're going to be doing TUPE transfers. They're going to be doing redundancies. There's going to be so much ER to come out of it. There's going to be like the selection. No, the good thing is that they will have so many policies which govern like how this stuff works. Yeah. But yeah, it's just going to be a mess. This is like probably the biggest redundancy or whatever, or like, the biggest number of redundancies I've ever heard of.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
NHS is the biggest employer in the UK, right?
Yeah. I would hate to be HR in NHS England when this is happening. Oh my God.
Or even in an organisation that has to take, do you know what I mean?
That is such stress. That's such stress. And it's going to impact people in ways that are just, no,
it's going to be horrendous. Like this, the volume of it, and we already know the NHS ain't the most efficient organisation.
I was just thinking that
there's not going to be no settlement conversations. It's all public money. They are going to take that process to the bitter end.
Literally, statutory.
Yeah, literally statutory sick pay.
Yeah.
Is it only statutory sick pay that you're getting in the NHS?
Surely.
Ooh, I don't know.
No. Actually, no, I don't think so. Yeah, I think they have enhanced.
Yeah. Oh, I saw actually someone was saying, I don't know if it's true, but they're saying that the redundancy money could be in excess of like 1 billion, or I don't know what it was, but the amount they will have to pay people, 1 million, 3 billion, I know something. It was going to be like a lot of money that they'll have to pay in redundancy pay. So I don't think it will be statutory, because the NHS does like enhanced maternity and sick pay, and so it probably won't be statutory.
Yeah. I don't think
they have good benefits in general if for like those sorts of things.
Yeah, I don't think it would be, but still.
Listen, some people there's going to be winners and losers, because I know some people have been working in that job for 25 years, and the opportunities that take.
They're ready to retire.
They're ready to retire. There'll be so many, like they need to be offering I'm sure they will, but they need to be offering voluntary redundancy.
Oh, yeah.
They need to be offering like early retirement schemes, and there will be some people that take it out because there'll be people that will get paid under them.
Yeah.
For all the slog they've been doing in the NHS for all these years, they should be paid, and they'll have their pensions.
It's a great position to be in.
I just hope that people that are made redundant are looked after.
Do you know they won't be?
No, but they actually, I don't know. Maybe it's like, I do think for stuff like pensions, sick pay, maternity, the NHS is all right for those sorts of benefits.
Yeah.
So I feel like redundancy will be the same.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, when you're in the NHS, it's not too bad, because like you said, you can go into another part of the NHS or different area, wherever you are in the UK. But just losing your job in this climate is so dark.
Yeah.
It's so dark.
But I actually think that obviously if they give it like a good enough lead time, which they have, that there'll be a lot of redeployment. So if they're smart, they'll be like, obviously NHS organization work so separately as well. But if they're smart, hopefully they'll be like, okay, because there's always vacancies in NHS. They'll be like, these vacancies there should be a question which is like, are you currently at risk of redundancy within NHS England or within the NHS? And they should prioritize those people, which is kind of good and bad. It's good because I guess it helps to redeploy those people, but it's bad because it's going to stop external people coming into the NHS, which they probably really need for innovation and just life.
There is so much going on in the HR world. I'm trying to think of like current news versus actual cases and stuff that I've seen. But with regards to cases, I saw one. It was I haven't even shared it with you, but it was a security guard. Well, no, he was a security guard. He got promoted to a security manager in 2018. He had been there for a long time, I think since 2008 or 2009, black guy. And in this security company, he was not a manager between 2011 and 2018, and all the managers were white and he was black. And that was like the thing, that most ethnic minorities were not in managerial positions. And then
standard.
And then white men were managers in this company. And there was a time where he actually applied for a job to be a manager after being there X amount of time. They didn't even acknowledge the application. It was just kind of bypassed. And then a lot of incidents came up where as a joke, air quote joke, someone referred to him as a slave. It's not funny. Yeah. So someone referred to him as a slave. Somebody said, "Oh, where did you learn your English?" Not knowing whether he was British born or like moved here when he was young. They were like, "Oh, where did you get your English from?" kind of thing. So there were all these types of comments. So he decided to resign based on feeling he was being discriminated against.
Probably was.
And it went to tribunal and he won £361,000.
I love that for him.
He did. But interestingly enough, the judge actually did not pay it to him based on discrimination. It was paid on victimization.
Okay.
And injury to feelings.
But for there to be victimization, there would have had to be some discrimination.
So they acknowledged that, there were comments about race and stuff, but it was more to do with he applied for a manager role. It was bypassed. They didn't even acknowledge
wasn't that deep, but all the stuff they did after.
Exactly. Yeah. So it was like the cultural setup and everything, the environment. But yeah, he got £361,000.
Victimization is the one that will get you as well, because I think it's a little bit like, I don't want to say human nature, but I think I mentioned on the podcast before, there was that guy in America. He was a slip and fall guy, and he would go to different companies, and then he would, like warehouses, he would basically look at the violations that they're doing on health and safety. He would then report them to the health and safety authority, and then he would let them know, I reported you, and then he would wait for them to victimize him, because obviously he knew that they would. Once they found out that he snitched on them, they were going to treat him badly, and then he would, on the back of the victimization, always win. And I think it's actually very hard if you're going to continue to work for someone, for them not to victimize you, because sometimes it's not consciously, but if you have someone in your team that has made a complaint against you, whether fair or not fair, you're not going to want to promote that person. You're not going to have the trust in that person for them to be your future second in command or something like that. That's true. Not to say it's good, but I'm always shocked. Like, I'm not shocked, but I'm shocked at the same time, like, with the kind of things that people say. Like, somebody DM'd me recently and was like, "Oh, I want to tell you, like, can I get your advice on something to do with, like, my colleague," sort of. But the kind of comments that they had made to this person, it involved saying the N-word and saying that it's not a big deal to say the N-word and using the N-word very openly and very casually. And I was just like, people think this doesn't happen anymore. And it's just crazy. And the kind of things that you can get fired for, and the kind of things that people should be getting fired for and are not getting fired for, it's just insane. But I love that for him.
Yeah, I love that for him. And it's so funny. So obviously, I'm a TikToker now. So
Cheers.
I did a TikTok today basically saying, something irritated me outside of work. Like I'm helping a family member with HR stuff, yeah. And I was boiling.
That's the one that will get you, it will get you stressed the most.
Literally, I was boiling. And it's a young person. So it's like they work for a big retail store.
Okay,
Yeah. I wrote to the CEO today because I'm so sick and tired.
The same. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm done. Like, I'm not even waiting anymore. Like, that's it. Yeah.
Are we going to tribunal?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Because they never expect the young ones would do it either.
Exactly. And they don't know, like when they see young people just sitting there, doesn't know who's behind them. Oh.
When I think about when I worked in retail, some of
retail is hell.
The microaggressions I experienced. When I was at Primark on Oxford Street, like I had a time, to be honest. Like that was like working with all my little friends and stuff. But we were definitely like treated very poorly, and there was definitely like some stereotyping and so many microaggressions of like the black people in that store. Oh my gosh, it was so bad.
It's so bad.
When I was in H&M.
Yeah. When I was in John Lewis, like there was a lot of black girls like working in John Lewis, and if there were no customers and we'd be talking, they'd be like, "Oh, you look like a gang. You need to like disperse, ladies. Disperse." Like what gang? Huh?
Word. They say to us as well. You guys need to disperse.
Like what is that? What?
But you're talking over. But you're over there with the Kathy.
Gang.
Piss me
off. What the hell? Like. Yeah. But anyways, I did a TikTok basically saying that employers are getting away with murder because people don't know their rights. People are not reading their handbook. People are not reading their policies. People are not going on ACAS. Exactly. So they are there's so many, like, you know, sometimes when there's something that happens at work and you hear that the person's just resigned and you're like, they resigned. They didn't get a thing. What?
Listen, when people say, "Oh, yeah, it just happened to me, so I just resigned," I'm like,
resign?
I was like, please, how long ago was it? How long ago? I need to hear less than 3 months. Let's go. Like, because you know what it is? It's the emotional, mental. Yeah. Like the labor that you have to do, and I understand why it doesn't feel worth it. But sometimes you just got to soldier up, man. You got to say
you have to firm it.
You have to firm it so that you can get to the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And also, people need to learn. People really need to learn. And just people say things all the time because they actually know they can get away with it. And just, do you know, can I just go on a bit of a tangent?
Okay.
Something really annoyed me, recently. Did you see the stuff with Gary Lineker?
I did. I know what you're going to say, but go on.
Listen, the whole thing pissed me off, yeah? The BBC, there's people that they should have fired and disgraced, yeah? Hugh Edwards, let's say him. Obviously, eventually, this guy had allegations on his name, and they were doing up suspension. Cool. You have to, like, innocent till proven guilty or whatever. There are so many people that at BBC which they really should have considered actually firing or doing more things about than they. Gary Lineker puts, like, I think from a HR perspective, obviously I'm sure they settled with him, and you know he was allowed to come and do his own leaving video. And for context, Gary Lineker has been with the BBC doing 30 years?
A long time.
For 30 years he's been working with the BBC. And he basically was fired or reached some sort of mutual. He's leaving Match of the Day because basically he had made some, I wouldn't even say they were pro-Palestine. Like he had basically came out and condemned like a lot of the stuff that's happening to Palestinians and just saying they're human beings. Let's not pretend like they're not, and it doesn't matter what the background is. Like it's just some of the things that are happening to them. It's just horrendous. Like there's just horrendous things. And he'd shared some kind of pro-Palestine stuff. And in one of the things that he had shared, he said, and I believe him, that he didn't know that in one of the things that he had shared, he reposted it or retweeted it or something, and it had an emoji of a rat. And historically, which I didn't even know myself, of the rat, like the symbol of a rat or the rat emoji has been used as an like anti-Semitic like symbol. Yeah, to say like Jewish people are like, yeah. And he said he didn't see the rat in the thing that he had reposted, but they got him the hell out of here. He said, like, they said, "Oh my God, you retweeted something that, or you reposted something that had anti-Semitism in it." And he was like, "Yo, people, I reposted it because of the content. I didn't know that it had a rat." I literally, listen, you could put, so even if I saw the emoji, I wouldn't even know what it was. Like, so on the back of that, his 30-year career, well, I want to say it's in toilet because he still has the legacy, but they parted ways with him. And I said, listen, I don't know who's pulling the strings, but for you to get rid of your biggest talent because they accidentally, and I believe, reposted something which had a negative gesture, and even if he was disciplined or something like that, but to sever ties with him after 30 years, I'm just like, it reminded me of all those things that, you know, when a company just wants you out and they just have a disproportionate response to, it's like they're waiting.
Yep.
Like when they saw him doing all this pro-Palestine stuff, or not even pro-Palestine, just, you know, pro-human rights stuff, I know they were thinking, we need to get him the hell out of here. When they saw that rat, they said, yeah, we got him on the hook. Gross misconduct, done.
It's actually crazy how people let me speak on it. Gary Lineker, Miss Rachel. People are going for Miss Rachel. So if you don't know who Miss Rachel is, Miss Rachel is the most innocent, like she has babies hooked with her content on learning.
Baby's Beyonce.
Yeah, she's literally baby's Beyonce. Like if a baby hears hi, they will literally turn to wherever it is, yeah. But basically Miss Rachel speaks out a lot about the children in Gaza and injuries that they have and how they're living, their living conditions, and she's very, very vocal about it. She's raised money for children in Palestine, etc. And ever since she's become vocal and obviously her profile has increased and she's become more visible, people are out to get her. People are out. She gets so much hate mail. How are you sending hate mail to Miss Rachel? Like, are you sick? Like, Miss Rachel?
That's crazy.
It's almost weird. Like, people are saying like she's a plant, and it's weird, but it's all happening since she's become like, it's weird.
Miss Rachel, yeah, she's an entrepreneur. She's self-made, and she actually is so like well-intended. I can't say that if I was Miss Rachel, I wouldn't be doing no money grab. I would have merch. I would be, you know, that thing on Cameo where you can pay $100 and they send your child a video. People would pay Miss Rachel to do a 30-second video, $100.
100%.
Like, they would do it, but she's actually not interested.
Yeah.
Oh, congrats to her as well. She just had a baby as well.
She did. I would definitely, if I was Miss Rachel.
She's a better person than me.
God knows who to give talents to. God knows.
That's why we're just here talking on the mic. But I just think it's crazy. Like, we've actually gotten to a place where, like, everything is so politicized. And what I hate is that it's the people, like, a lot of the time, and it's the same, especially in the workplace, right? There's this certain thing. Everyone is so on edge about the things that they cannot say. Yeah. And these are the things that people have been saying for a long time, or you just can't say anything. But before, they were trying to say that, well, do you know what I mean? And that. But now, how can someone come online and say, oh, kids are dying and that's not really good? And that's like controversial. It's actually very scary.
And that's why people are scared to speak in the workplace. It's like, it's kind of touched on in the webinar we did last week. But even with all the stuff with gender.
Biological sex.
Biological sex. Like, people are scared about how to address certain things in the workplace. And I don't blame them. And I do think workplaces need to equip people in general, but especially managers, with the right language to use, because they are scared, they are nervous, which means they're more likely to say the wrong thing. So yes, very important.
Yeah, but I just couldn't believe that. I was like, Gary Lineker. You know, I'm not even the biggest fan. Remember last time I was cussing Gary Lineker on this podcast because he said that he's so dark skinned that he experienced racism when he was younger.
Silly guy.
Me, I'm not even his biggest fan. But I can look at it, what has happened, and be like, that's actually, from a HR perspective, is a disproportionate response to actually what happened.
Yeah.
And you can't say, oh, because you brought BBC into disrepute, because they've done that up and down by themselves. The guy that was on
Gary Lineker's the least of their worries.
Listen, they sat on big BBC News and they read out the N-word, and then they doubled down and said, oh, well, we didn't say it, we were giving a quote. And it's like, you didn't have to say it. Then they waited for black talent to resign before they then released a statement saying, oh yeah, maybe we misspoke or whatever they said. We should have considered it. They've disgraced themselves up and down already.
Mate, a network that had Jimmy Savile there for as long as they did has no, like, Gary Lineker's the least of their problems. Yeah.
And I really hope that he does like a proper cash grab now. I want him to go and, like, I hope he has no loyalty.
He needs to go CBS or something.
He needs to go do Soccer of the Day on ITV.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Soccer of the Day.
Yeah. I'm sure if they did settle with him, I'm sure they put a clause in there.
Yeah, they would have. They have to,
where he can't move around like that.
Prime, Amazon Prime. They Amazon Prime are the ones. Have you seen Justice Judy or Judy Justice?
No.
Judge Judy.
Oh,
They bought Judge Judy. There's no more Judge Judy. She has a show on Amazon called Judy Justice.
Period.
Amazon, they'll be there. They have their coin. They're ready to go low.
That is joke.
It doesn't take them much to get there.
That is joke.
He could easily go to Amazon.
Yeah.
And they must have put some restrictions in his contract.
Of course.
But how much did you have to pay Gary Lineker?
A lot of money.
Because I don't know, he was very top
top 5? Yeah, like highest paid.
I wonder how much you have to pay him to stop him from working somewhere else for a period of time.
A lot. Big up him. Love that for him, to be honest.
Yeah. Him, Ian Wright, they can just go and do anything.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hope Gary Lineker's doing well.
He is. He's fine.
I know he's fine. He's definitely
Yeah.
When I saw that he was doing his own announcement, to step down, I said they worked out a nice deal.
100%. 100%.
There's no way they were going to try and shove him out the door and put some random next person in there. Who's replaced him? Who's replacing him? Oh, it's the end of the season. We don't know, isn't it?
Yeah.
He was going to do it up until the end of the season, and then next season we'll know.
Yeah, I have no idea who, but the best people are already tied up with Paramount and CBS or whatever.
Well, who could it be? Can't be Thierry Henry. I would watch anything.
He's doing CBS. Isn't
I know.
It? Yeah.
You know who's the personality?
Micah.
Yeah, there's a personality hire. I'm not saying he doesn't know football, by the way. I'm just saying that, but he's 100% personality hire, and he's the best kind of personality hire.
I love Micah.
I love him too. He's so funny.
I love him.
But he's 100% a personality hire.
He is, but he's great.
Sometimes, he's the example of why personality hires sometimes are necessary.
He's balanced. Like
he's good at his job, but then he adds something that,
he's younger than the rest of them as well.
He's not the most technical, but he adds something that, what's his name? Jamie Carragher. He's a miserable old man.
I like Jamie Carragher.
Yeah, but that's his vibe, isn't it? Like, he's a miserable old man, so he just has to have like Modern Family. He would be, what's his name? Jim.
Modern Family. Who would he be on Modern Family?
The granddad.
Oh,
dad.
yeah. Oh my god, what is his name? Oh, it's gonna bug me now.
Joe.
Joe. I think it's Joe. It's giving Joe. Yeah. Anyway, okay. Now, Carragher's not always miserable. I quite like him. But obviously, he's not Michael. Like, he's hilarious and just so fun. Yeah. Great balance.
So, basically, Dermatologica, skincare brand in the UK, they basically had like a mandate that came down from head office to say that all of their teams need to reduce their headcount by 0.5. So like half a person, they need to get rid of half a person in each team, or they had to do a headcount reduction. And in their infinite wisdom, one of the people in the facilities part of the business said, okay, we've got a part-time person, she's 0.5. So if we get rid of her, that will just deal with our issues. And so she was on the day that they wanted to do it. I don't know why they couldn't wait, but it was her day off. Yeah, she wasn't working, she's part-time. So they put a random catch-up in her diary and asked if she could join the call on her day off. For me, red flags are, like, alarm bells are starting to ring at this point, but not for her. They were also aware that she had some mental health challenges already, but they decided to put in a catch-up for her. She worked on site, but they decided, nope, we'll put in a catch-up while she's at home and we'll tell her then. So she joined this catch-up with her manager, no HR on the call, not knowing what it was about. And then her manager proceeds to tell her that, look, I'm so sorry, but we have to reduce headcount by 0.5 and you're 0.5. And sorry, like, we're going to make you redundant. And she had no support around her, no one to talk to because she was at home. Her colleagues it's not like she works in a remote environment, like her colleagues are on site. She said it really impacted her mental health. And obviously, when they went to tribunal, because they didn't do any real selection other than the fact she's part-time, and you definitely can't discriminate against part-time people because there's part-time workers regulations, but also she's part-time, I think, because she had like
mental health stuff.
Well, childcare responsibilities as well. So they basically said that as well as being discrimination against part-time workers, it was indirect sex discrimination because women are more likely to work part-time because they have childcare responsibilities. So because you're picking part-time people, even if she didn't have childcare responsibilities, I think she did, but you're picking people who you're selecting based on the fact that people are part-time, and therefore you're more likely to capture women within that. And so it's indirect sex discrimination, and she won £24,000.
Good on her.
Yeah, I'm glad she went. Like, I love
That
seeing.
was so lazy.
Listen, stop letting managers do things.
Yeah.
I went to an event. We're speaking about AI. So I went to an event yesterday, and it was like a HR tool. And they were basically saying that they have introduced AI, and managers will now be able to go and be like, oh, I want to have this conversation with my employee. How should I have the conversation?
What? You're going to leave that up to AI? Come on, let's be serious.
And there were so many good things with this, with this thing. And I was like, that's amazing. That's amazing. When they said they're going to let managers go and ask AI for how to have this coaching conversation or a performance conversation, I said, you people want to be sued. It's not everything that AI can do. Like, we was having this conversation. When they say people are worried that AI is going to replace their job, I'm like, it can never replace my job. I've never had that fear. But they're actually trying now. They're actually trying. They're going to fail. Listen, the way they're going to get sued.
That's so funny.
I was when I was listening to this presentation, I was shaking. I was like, if a manager in a company that I support was like, okay, and decided rather than saying they want to contact me,
they want to
go talk to HR chatbot, talking to them how to manage their people. Listen, just do your ET one now.
That is so funny.
Do your tribunal form right now.
Can you imagine?
But that it's live. I'll tell you what it was after.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
I know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was like, what?
That's so risky. But
it's
sorry.
gonna happen now.
AI cannot do my job. I would like to see AI try to do my job, but
we should talk about AI on the next episode. Actually,
we should.
I've got
AI is not. It's never. I would like to see it try and do my job.
But listen, that is when you got that manager. There was no HR on the call, so I know that call was a mess. Listen, sometimes you have to be on the call. Well, when you're on the call, you still do a script.
Yeah, of course.
And that's when I'm on the call.
Yeah.
I have written a script, and some people, like especially on TikTok and stuff, the people who have recorded themselves getting made redundant, they're like, you can tell the manager's reading from a script.
Damn right.
And I'm like, as they should, because it's not just about, they're not pretending. Like, and I even say to my managers, when you have this meeting, tell them there's important things that I need to tell you about. So for parts of this meeting, I am going to be reading from a script.
Yeah.
Because there's things that you need to communicate to them that are important because it's their rights to know, or this meeting there's formality around this meeting. It has to work in a certain way. So when they're like, you can tell he's reading from a script. Listen, I promise you, it's better than him freestyling.
Literally. You prefer the script, trust me.
Because when he starts freestyling, you're going to cry. Because he's going to start talking rubbish.
He's going to say some wayward things.
And definitely, but you might cry, but you'll sue after.
Literally.
How can a manager say, you're 0.5, so we're picking you?
That's terrible. And everyone around them thought, this is great logic.
Dermatologica, please.
Big I can't even say it.
It's not even worth mentioning now. Dermatologica. You are I won't say household brand, but you're a well-known brand.
Oh, very well-known.
You have money.
Yeah, 100%. Their stuff is good.
And it's not like a store person or whatever. It was like facilities. So you work within do you understand what I mean? Like, how are you letting people go and make their people redundant? Maybe she had less than 2 years service and they just thought it was low risk.
Yeah, but still.
Listen, that employment rights bill, is really going to start. It's going to tear my Sinclair up and down. All of us.
Yeah, it is. But I just feel like I'm good. Honestly, good. Because employers are so lazy. They're so lazy. And they need to start having their wrists slapped because people are just getting away with things. They need to be on edge. I'm not
looking forward to that bill.
They need to look at
I'm looking forward to it for people.
Yeah, but they need to look at things that are high, like that. They might not think it's high risk, but it is. We have literally done cases on the podcast where people have been excluded from a T round and got 40K. Like, there's one that we haven't even spoken about yet where they're compared to Star Wars character and got 30K.
You have to talk about that.
So you have to just look at every case as an individual case and look at things with due diligence and say, okay, let's follow process. Because that's what managers don't want to do. They want to cut corners.
But you know what it is? I think some of it is like commerciality as well. Like today, I was having a conversation with somebody about, a lot of the time, managers, it doesn't affect them. Like, let's be real. Unless you look terrible in the process, that's when it might affect you. But with managers, if your employee sues you, it don't make no difference to you. They leave and they sue you. You're just happy that they're gone. You might have to do a little investigate. You might have to, speak out, I don't know, some sort of hearing or whatever. It doesn't affect you.
But it's not deep enough.
Yeah. It doesn't come from you don't have a P&L. Even if it did, like, it's not affecting your pay. They just don't care. Like, I wonder how much it's going to make a difference. Companies are going to have to really do something to incentivize managers to take this seriously. Like, if you have an employee that goes to tribunal, we're going to have to do an internal assessment to see if you acted in the way that you were supposed to act, not just, slap on your wrist or, next time. Like, we're going to have to say, this is now a big risk, and, you have to do things properly, because every single the procedure now is going to be every single claim we get in, we're going to do an internal investigation. Yeah,
there needs to be consequences. I agree.
And they need to actually follow through with it.
I agree. Put it on the performance review. Put it in there.
Yeah, because even performance reviews for managers, a lot of the time they're not assessing how good a manager you are.
Nah, they're not. So they need to put it in there.
Anyway, I think that's enough for today.
Yes, it is. But your bit.
Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. We're back now, so lots of content coming your way.
That's a wrap, guys. Bye.